what are your personal struggles with this at the moment?
I think on a personal level, it's communication. I think one of the biggest challenges that we have, not as a company, but I think as a country, when it comes to running businesses, is communication within companies. I think we don't give enough importance to it. We are subscribing, as I said, to a lifestyle that's possibly a bit too fast, and the first thing to suffer is communication.
Yeah.
So on a personal level, I don't have a problem with the company growing faster than I want it to grow. Great, that's great. What I have a problem with is not having enough time to sit down and have a proper conversation of, okay, this is where we're heading.
Yeah.
And so if this is where we're heading, how are we tackling it? There isn't that communication. So, because you're obviously running to keep up.
Yeah.
I don't like firefighting. I think you need to try and I think you need to try and preempt problems and work towards avoiding them. But at the same time, sometimes firefighting is the only option. You say, you know what, I have this and I need to deal with it now. Am I going to learn next year? We'll try and avoid finding ourselves in this situation. Yes, but now we need to fix this problem. Practical example is when it came to the studios. In the absolute ideal world, we would have, shut down the other studios, closed shop for a couple of months.
Yeah, and then rebuild
and then come here, take all our time to whatever. But there were moments where we were running 2 radio stations simultaneously. One of them was not on air because it was this one, but we were building a radio station, changing workflows here. While on the other end, you had the team who was still working there. So even that, when it came to that change, it was a big challenge. And again, not something I could do by myself, or not something that one person can do by themselves. It took a whole team of saying, listen, we're going to divide and conquer. I was off the air from the show for a number of weeks, not because I was on holiday, because I was actually here. In an empty building, figuring this thing out, because there came a time where I couldn't continue switching, spending my mornings here, spending my afternoons in the old studios. There was a moment where I said, you know what, I need to be here at all times, and then in the same way, there were people who stayed there, not worrying about what's happening here, because they knew that I was handling here, and I had the operations director on the other end, making sure that we're still operating on that end. And that's the beautiful thing about communication
and focus, because everyone has had their thing to be focused on, and that I think that is important as well, because if you delegate and not direct, then it becomes a problem, because if you delegate just to delegate and don't give direction.
I am lucky because I had experience on film sets, even on a local level, and that is where the delegation and that is where the roles and responsibilities are very clear on a film set. So on a film set, if there is a cable on the floor and people are tripping over it, and it's a cable that belongs to the lighting team, everyone else will walk past it. No one will fix that problem. It's the lighting team that needs to fix it. Even if they're dismantling stuff, everyone is doing their own thing. Even if there's a problem, that team. So if I'm in the camera department and there's a problem with lights, and the director says, guys, can we move that light from here to there? And there's 5 people in the room who are the camera team not doing anything, they won't touch that light. It's not their job.
It's about having extreme ownership.
Like, nope. Part of the reason that they do it, I have to be honest, is because the one time you move the light, you're stuck with moving the light every single time. So there is a selfish element to it, but it's beautiful because everyone knows exactly what they're doing. Everyone knows exactly where the line is, and they don't cross over the line. In fact, if you look at a film set and you look at especially abroad, and you look at what's written on the side of the trucks, you have the lighting truck, you have the camera truck, you have the catering truck,
important.
No one's carrying each other's equipment. If you need something from the light truck, you speak to the lighting guys. And if the camera guys need to figure out extra space to carry their equipment, they're not putting it in a different truck. It's all different departments.
And on the job, that is role clarification.
On the job, yes. On the job. So as much as it freaks me out to see the team growing in a way that, my God, it's more, we're growing and it's obviously bigger responsibilities for a company because it's more salaries, it's bigger costs and whatever. It's at the same time great because, you can start to define roles a bit more. I think that is where as well a company needs to recognize that it's grown to a point where roles need to be clearly defined. You can't have people juggling multiple roles. It's a challenge, easier said than done. I still juggle nowadays.
Yes.
I'm on air and behind the scenes in management. But I'm starting to understand, there are times where someone from the team comes, asks me a question, and not because I don't know the answer, but I actually tell them, wrong person. You're asking the wrong guy.
Yeah.
Not because I don't want to help you, but because I don't want to answer that question for you. You need to be going to the right person.
That is part of growth as well, because you end up being stuck in the startup phase in a way.
Yes.
And that you're
and it's
everything.
not about me not wanting to take responsibility for something or shoving a problem down the line, but actually about me saying, listen, you're asking the wrong person about it. I will help, if it gets too bad and someone needs to step in. Of course I'm going to step in. Of course I've got your back along the way, but that's not my call to take. Because that's where communication comes in.